So what you're going to want to do, you're going to want to rush Invis. Okay, or unless it's Overshield. Sometimes it's Overshield. You're going to want to get that one.
Dude,
like,
Beaver
well,
Creek's
how do
a
I
great
dance?
map, I'm telling you.
How do I do the woogity, the joogity boogity dance? Shut up, idiot!
Hello, and welcome to Grass Touchers, the show where the three of us guys talk about video games, what we've been playing lately, and other stuff too, because we don't have time for video games as often as we would like. I am Jake.
I am Jared.
And I'm Greg.
Yeah, dude. What have we been playing lately? What's up?
I have been playing a couple new ones that I picked up on the Steam Winter Sale. I picked up the Dyson Sphere program, which is one of those...
Oh, I'm so curious. That was on my wish list.
Yeah, it's one of those, like, economy, efficiency, porn-type games, but it's fun. If you like that type of game, if you like management games, it's fun, and I've been having a good time.
Would you say
with
it is like 1,000%, like definitely a management game?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. It's all about optimizing, and like every single thing you do is, for me, every single thing, that I do is I'm second guessing it, being like, is this gonna just come back to bite me later? And the answer is always yes.
Right.
But aside from that, some Tarkov. I haven't played since we played last, which was a disastrous occasion.
Yeah.
And
I feel like we have to retract everything positive we said about Tarkov last week.
Seriously,
because we
so
went and
bad.
played it and it was dog crap.
Yeah, it was. It was so awful. So, but yeah, aside from that, just some here and there's. Greg?
Yeah, not a lot of games in the last week. I have been playing Steam Deck again, more. Playing Donkey Kong Country 3, which is super fun. If you've listeners out there that have never played the original 3 Donkey Kong Country games for Super Nintendo, they're all super fun, all really good. And the first 2 are pretty similar, but the third one is kind of has like an overworld map, which is really cool. And to get to new areas of the overworld map, you have to do specific, beat specific bosses, and there's kind of a storyline, like an item exchange, like this NPC has this item that you need to open this part of the map, and to get that you have to trade. It's like almost like a bartering kind of thing. It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Kind of adds a different wrinkle to that formula, and it's the least popular of the Donkey Kong Country games, but it was always my favorite as a kid, and because it was so different from the other 2. So played that one, which is cool, and I'm looking at getting Hades, which is Neato Mosquito.
Yeah.
So please take...
I know we already said this last week, but I'm positive that you will enjoy that game. I'm looking forward to seeing what you have to say about it.
Yeah, absolutely. So those are kind of the 2 I'm looking at right now. What about you, Jake?
Well, I have been playing PUBG both solo and with you. Last week, you and I played a little bit. That was cool. And I've got some chicken dinners that I've managed to pull off. It's still just like, I still get such a rush out of that. Like even if I play the like training mode, the warm up mode, where it's mostly AI and there's like 8 players scattered throughout the map. It's always interesting to see if I pick the same place that those players go, or if we all pick different ones and we end up meeting at the end, because the AI is like really easy to kill, right? And there's a couple times where I win those, and it's like, even out of just those 8 guys, I won, and that's cool, because I'm never in it just to like jump right in and get every kill that there is and like, go off, as the kids say. I just want to win, and see if I can strategize, and I just still am in the throes of love for PUBG. I have not booted up Mass Effect 3 yet, but I plan to next time I find myself chilling on the couch for some Steam Deck time. And I have dipped into Cosmoteer just a little bit more. Still really enjoyed that. Didn't go very far, but just kind of getting back from the save state that I had, loading back in, and played a little more Rollerdrome on the Steam Deck. And I've been looking for something that is like relatively low stress, not competitive against other people, just like single player romp, you know. And
Have
I
you
was
heard
looking
of
at every-
Animal Crossing?
Oh, gosh. Not something I can tolerate, brother. Let me just tell you that right now. It's funny because sometimes I wish I was the kind of person that could play a cozy game, as they call them, right? Like, let me just go fish for a fish and let me go gather up wood and let me make a little house and let me just, but like, it's so, I feel like such a loser when I do that. The games that have like make your own house sort of components to them, I sink a little bit of time into that. Like Skyrim, for example, right? There's like multiple houses you can get. In Zelda, Breath of the Wild, you can save up and get this house. And I think you can put a few things in it, but it's not a huge like customization thing, I don't think. Or if there is, there's a lot of collectibles I don't bother to get. Every time I like get a house in a game, I feel so worthless. Like, I hate myself for it. And I know that's, do what you want, right? Like, who cares? But I don't know. There's something about it that really bothers me. So yeah, I'm still exploring, and the Steam sale I'm sure will be something, eventually something will catch my eye. But I already have Hades, and now that you're playing it, I might have to replay it, Greg. I have it on the Switch, so I'll probably play that at some point.
What about real Animal Crossing? You just cross Mama Bear and her 2 cubs, get your face ripped off. How about that? Nintendo.
Go to the local animal shelter and adopt a
Yeah.
bunch of cats, and then like let them loose on one side of the street and like cross the street with them.
Right. Cross. Go to the zoo and cross one of the giraffes and just get hoofed to death. They just beat you up with their necks.
Yeah, dude, that's a brilliant idea. It's
It's Animal Crossing, guys. You want to play Animal Crossing?
Hey, speaking of animals, no lie, this past Friday, my wife and I had just like a date night. I took the day off because I was feeling pretty sick, and I'm still recovering from that. But on Friday in the afternoon, we went to the SPCA like animal shelter thing, and we cuddled with puppies, and I felt like $1 million after that. It was amazing. And we went and saw a movie because date night, we gotta go see a movie, right? And I asked my wife, I was like, hey, let's look what's in theaters right now. What do we bother to waste some time, go see a movie, because we don't really get to do this very often. Let's make it count, And I was looking, and there's Wonka, right? Timothy Chalamet is Wonka, and I was like, I kind of want to see that. Is it good? I don't know. Maybe it'll be good. And she was like, you know what I want to see? I want to see that Emma Stone flick, because we had watched SNL and she was hosting more or less to promote this movie that she had been in. And I was like, yeah, actually, let's do that. Maybe that'll be good. I don't know. It looks like some kind of weird hipster, movie, like it's going to get a bunch of awards or something. And occasionally I like to dip my toes into the award-centric sort of movies, right? Because there's a reason that they're acclaimed, and generally they're very artful, very good. And let me tell you, this movie is called Poor Things. And now that I've seen it, I am one of the poor things that had to put myself through that movie, dude.
Really?
Like, it was wacky, dude. And it's a hard watch. It's a hard watch with your wife right next to you because, spoiler alert, Emma Stone gets super butt-ass naked. Just like...
She looks like dog crap in that movie, though, doesn't she?
Well, so she has lots of costumes. So on the one hand, they've made a lot of effort, like to dress her a certain way. But one of the premises of the movie, and I'm sure this is why it's going to win a bunch of awards because it's very like female empowerment, whatever. She has to discover herself as her character literally grows up. More on that in a minute. And one of the ways that she discovers herself is through sexuality. And she ends up in a French brothel getting railed out, dude.
Oh my gosh.
Endless. Okay, this is a long movie. I think it was like 220 maybe. I can't. I'm gonna go look up a couple things.
220.
This movie is wild. I should have read reviews or looked at. I should have gone to like Christian mommy blog parts of the internet and been like, what is should I take my child to go see Poor Things? Of course, the answer would be no, dude.
No.
Because honestly, the nudity was like nutso, full frontal, dick and balls, bushy stuff and tits and just all of it like was out, dude. All just too much. And so I'm happy to report Willem Dafoe is in the movie, and he's not one of the nude people in the movie, so that's nice.
Well, I'm not seeing it then.
Yeah, so
You've just
if you're looking
lost a
forward to-
customer. Congratulations.
if you're looking to catch a little peek of Willem Dafoe there, you're going to be out of luck. But yeah, so the runtime on this was.
Don't tell Harry. You know what I'm saying, bro? Me and MJ are gonna have a hell of a time.
Oh yeah, dude. Rated R for strong and pervasive sexual content, graphic nudity, disturbing material, gore, and language.
Okay.
And the reason that there's gore is because I should probably back up and talk about the premise of the movie. So Willem Dafoe plays this like mad scientist cat, right? Super cool. Love his character. His character's very interesting. And he is sort of disfigured because of some things from his past and his dad and how he was treated. And his dad was also like a mad scientist dude pushing boundaries, right? And his dad experimented on him and like cut stuff off of him and out of him to see what would happen. And like he has these machines that he depends on to live because of what his dad did to him. But he's fine. He's lived to be a ripe old man. And one of the things that he does is he waits for cadavers to show up in the city, and then he'll like experiment on them and do surgery clinics where he'll like go to like an old school surgery theater and students will watch him like do anatomy lessons and stuff. And his sort of mad scientist quirks come out partially because of his dad, where he takes like the head of like a dog and puts it on like a goat, or takes the head of a goose and puts it on the body of a cat. And like in the movie, it's all very sort of fantasy, sci-fi, like all of that just works, magically. And so a cadaver shows up in the city of this lady that jumped off of a bridge, committed suicide, was ostensibly upset or, displeased with her life in some way. Well, she jumped off a bridge. She was pregnant. And Willem Dafoe's character, when he discovers all this, he explains it all sort of to the audience and also to the characters in the movie, and saying the baby was still alive, but the mom had died. And so the baby alive in there, I took out, and I thought the logical thing to do here is take the brain out of the baby, take the brain out of the mom, put the baby brain inside the mom, sew her up, and now she's a child again. And I'm going to see what happens. I'm going to watch her grow up. That'll be fine, right? And so that's the premise of the movie, is that Emma Stone is a recently deceased, recently reanimated version of her own child.
What the heck is this, man?
So she's like herself, but not herself, with the brain of her kid in her. And I suppose the metaphor there is like, the lengths that we go to save our children and to watch our children grow up and have them navigate this thing. And in some ways, our children are us, and we're living through them vicariously, because Willem Dafoe doesn't have any natural children, and this is sort of his child that he's like put out into the world, right? Mm-hmm. And so Emma Stone's character goes from like toddling around and barely speaking and throwing her food and acting like a baby to slowly becoming like adolescent and sort of learning. And Willem Dafoe keeps her in this kind of walled garden in his mansion, his big house. And this guy comes along because Willem Dafoe is looking for help in his like surgery theater and stuff like that. And this guy kind of takes a liking to the girl. He's taking notes on the girl at Willem Dafoe's behest. And he says, hey, I need you to watch her because I'm busy. You need to take notes on her development and give her like tutoring lessons and teach her about the world. And she can't leave the house. That's the one rule. And so eventually he goes, I think you like her. I think you should marry her. And he's like, dog, she's like 8 mentally. And he's like, no, it's fine, dude. It's cool.
Chill, bro,
you just have to live here.
relax,
You just have to live here forever. You can't ever leave my house. She has to stay here. You guys have to be here now. And he goes, okay. And then Mark Ruffalo comes in because he's a lawyer in the movie. And he writes up a contract that says all this.
Wait. So Mark Ruffalo's not the Hulk in the movie.
Yeah, what the heck, dude? I was really hoping Bruce Banner was going to show up and just kill everybody.
It's so you guys, Mark Ruffalo tries really hard to be this like other person, but I can't see him any other way. He's typecast as Bruce Banner from now on for sure, right? But he comes in with this like slightly effeminate, well-traveled British accent, and he's a lawyer, and he comes in with this contract, and he knows what the contract says. He sees the names of the character of the people that are involved in the contract, and he's like, who is this girl that you're protecting? She must mean a lot to you. Like, I have to meet this person. She seems unique or special or weird or whatever. And so he like goes up to where the girl is, and like in her room, she's like playing with dolls or whatever. And he gets like his hands on her, and it's very creepy, and she doesn't know what to make of it other than like, that felt good, do that again please. And it's like, that's weird. And so that is the catalyst for her starting her like sexual finding herself journey, adulthood thing, is some guy creeping on her, and it's like, it doesn't feel good, man. Like, that's really, really odd. And so they use the R word. They say so she's retarded. She's very cute.
Now I
like,
want
they
to see this
say
movie.
that in the movie. And anyway, it's a really really wild flick, because like I said, after that there's this big journey that she goes on. Mark Ruffalo kind of sweeps her off of her feet, takes her off to a bunch of different places, and they have lots of gratuitous sex, and there's lots and lots of nudity, and she ends up in a French brothel because Mark Ruffalo's had enough of her, and she makes her own way, and she goes to school, and she pays her own way because she's whoring herself out. And she comes back, well traveled, well learned, and well used. And the movie wraps up with her meeting the guy that I'm using air quotes, was married to, right? Her body was married to this guy, and he was so awful she jumped off of a bridge.
Okay.
But she doesn't know that. She returns home, is about to marry the guy that she was supposed to marry in the first place, but Mark Ruffalo comes in with her previous husband, and he goes, "Hey, you're my wife." And she goes, maybe I am. And she just doesn't do the wedding, goes back to this place with this guy that she was married to, finds out what a giant tool bag he is, ends up shooting him in the foot, or there's a tussle because he was gonna have her surgically altered in some way, I forget, and there's this tussle, he gets shot in the foot, she goes home and marries the guy, I think, and sews that guy what does she do? She puts the brain of a goat inside the head of her ex-husband, and he's like eating out of a bush. And then the movie ends. I don't know, man. It's a lot. That was a wild ride.
Well, I'm going to give you a review on your review. This movie sounds like the dumbest movie I've ever heard, and I hope I never see it. And I enjoy movies, but it's like, it's sometimes it's just obvious when people are trying to be too avant-garde. I guess it's not the worst example I've ever heard of that.
Sure.
But just like, also, what's the deal? You can't, when they bend the rules like that, and they make it so unbelievable, and they're trying to sell us on a world where Willem Dafoe can put a goat's head on a Komodo dragon's body, and then like this, and then Mark Ruffalo's like a lawyer. Get out of here.
Actually, he's a scientist that studies gamma radiation.
Yeah, you're right, dude.
I'm going to write a letter to the director, Yorgos Lanthimos, and be
You're
like,
right.
"Listen, my man Yorgos, you got it all wrong." Okay.
Yeah.
Total lore, there's some canon here that you missed, clearly.
Yeah, this movie's gay. Let's talk about who's your favorite Hulk. I always liked the Eric Bana one. I'm not going to lie. I really did.
I liked what's his name? American History X, Fight Club. Edward Norton.
Edward Norton. That was a
Did
that was
Edward
a good
Norton
one too.
play the Hulk?
He was going to be the Hulk in the MCU movies, because he was the Hulk in the movie The Incredible Hulk, and that was actually
seeing that now.
The Incredible Hulk. I think came out right before or right after Iron Man came out.
Yeah.
And he was supposed to be the Hulk in the Avengers, and he was supposed to be Mark Ruffalo, right? And then apparently Edward Norton is notoriously difficult to work with as an actor. And he butted heads with some of the people at Marvel.
I bet he saw Endgame and was kicking himself on that one, dude.
Oh, you know that's true. But they recast him. They recast Mark Ruffalo in his spot.
Well, Mark Ruffalo is a wonderful Bruce Banner. I won't lie. But,
he is, for
I
sure.
don't have any particular. I'm not a huge Marvel dude. I don't have a huge affinity for one or another. But
Mark Scabolo.
you know what Marvel or comic book characters played by actors that I seem to remember really well is George Clooney being Batman, dude.
Oh, that is the worst and best Batman movie of all time. Casey,
Yeah, dude,
Casey and
Batman
I
and
watch
Robin.
it. We watch it like once a year. We just get like a case of beer and watch Batman and Robin.
Yeah.
It's like,
Arnold.
you're
as
going
Mr.
to
Freeze?
freeze.
Please. Yeah.
1997 is a wild time, dude. So wacky. In much better movie-related news, I finally watched Training Day, which I know is a classic. Very glad I watched that. Jared made a reference to it because the main character's name is Jake. Highly recommend everybody see it. It's on Netflix. I don't think it's leaving anytime soon. Watch it.
It's good.
ASAP. Super, super good. Buddy cop, but one of them's rotten. Very cool. Very, very cool movie.
One of Denzel's best, honestly.
Oh my gosh, peak Denzel.
Yeah.
So much Denzel energy of like chaos and like street smarts. It just
Right.
like no, you don't
And
know what's
smirking.
coming next.
So much smirking.
Constant, the whole movie. The whole
Right.
movie.
Yeah, Snoop Dogg's in it. He's in a wheelchair.
I didn't realize Snoop Dogg was in it. You know who else is in it? Is what's his name that plays Drax in
Dave Bautista.
Oh.
Dave Bautista? That's the one. No, not Dave Bautista. I'm stupid. Frick. Terry Crews. Terry Crews.
Terry Crews.
Terry Crews plays one of the muscle-bound dudes
Yeah,
in the bad part of town.
neighborhood.
At the
yeah.
very end, you see Terry Crews. And what's his name from Breaking Bad that plays one of the drug dealer dudes?
Raymond Cruz.
who's
He plays Tuco.
Yeah, that's the one. The one that plays Tuco Salamanca. He's in Training Day. Yeah, wild movie. I saw some familiar faces where I was like, hey, look, it's that guy. So yeah, pretty cool, dude. Well, anyway, enough about movies. I know this is more or less a video game podcast. Greg, you got some goofy stories here in the notes I see. What do we got? Hit me.
So we were cutting up before the podcast as we do, and I was reminded of a really funny and sad story from my teenage years, and it got me to thinking that this podcast is called Grass Touchers, but I know for a fact we all have stories from our lives when we were in fact the opposite of Grass Touchers.
There was another time in my life before you knew me.
And so I thought it would be hilarious for us to share some stories where our addiction to video games may have caused some strife in our personal lives, or some funny moments. So the one story that I would really love to share is when I was 15 years old. Actually, it was my 15th birthday. I was so helplessly addicted to Halo 2. Now, those of you that are listening to this podcast that were not teenagers when Halo and Halo 2 came out, those were the games, guys. Everybody played Halo, pretty much, except for Jake.
It was so different. It was so different. You couldn't just get on Steam and go play 1,000 indie games, in 1 hour. There was these monoliths. It was like freaking Halo 2 is all that matters to anybody that plays video games right now. Like that was
yes. And Microsoft overhauled Xbox Live, right? Their platform to play online games. Because and for Halo 2, the Xbox platform was not powerful enough to run Halo, the original Halo online. So they developed Xbox Live and enhanced it to play Halo 2. And
right.
That game I played so much Halo 2, but I remember specifically the day of my 15th birthday, the new DLC for Halo 2 had come out. Like, this is very, very early in the days of DLC. So this would have been spring of 2005, and a new map came out for Halo 2. And I got home from school. It was my birthday, and my dad had said, at like 7 o'clock, we're going to do like a birthday cake and presents, and like we have like a bunch of your friends coming over, and your grandma's coming over, and whatever. And as soon as I got home from school, I went straight into my bedroom and played Halo 2. And I think we got out of school at like 2:30 back then. Yeah. So I was home by 3 playing Halo 2.
Just unblinking, just
like nonstop.
Controller is barely hanging on.
Yeah, just like dripping sweat and drinking Mountain Dew Code Red and eating Doritos.
Yeah.
And at like 7 o'clock, my dad comes up and knocks on my bedroom door, and he's like, "Hey, everyone's here for like we lit the candles, like, like
your birthday.
It's your birthday, and I was like, I'll be there in a second. And my dad and my dad goes, no. Like the candles are lit on your birthday cake. Everyone is ready to sing happy birthday to you. And I kid you not, I left my Halo headset on, my Xbox headset on, kept the controller in my hand, walked downstairs, blew out my candles, said thank you everyone for coming, and went straight back upstairs and kept playing Halo 2. And it's one of those, like, at the time, I didn't care. And now I look back, I'm like, that's so embarrassing. Like, they put this party together for me, and all I wanted to do was, like, drive a Warthog around and, like, shoot Covenant and whatever, just, like...
Yeah. That's so good, dude. Oh, my gosh. I didn't get the Xbox experience from the early 2000s like I wish I did, because I was a GameCube boy and, like... we've talked about this before. My sort of heritage and my upbringing in video games did not include the early days of Xbox. Maybe that's for the best. I don't know. The idea that you could play online at all was like mind-blowing to me, and it required a certain internet connection. It couldn't be dial-up. It had to be, the real deal, because dial-up was still totally prevalent at the time. And I remember thinking, when I heard stories about other people just like staying up until 3 a.m. playing Halo or Call of Duty or whatever, I was like, I wonder what that's like. Am I missing anything? And then I got an Xbox 360 down the road and realized, yes, I was missing out. that was dope.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh man, I really would have sunk some hours into this. I've had a few games like that. The one that comes to mind is from Microsoft Game Studios back in the day, a game called Freelancer. It was, I'm going to have to find Microsoft Studios. I have a ROM of it, and I emulate it now. I played it for a couple hours one time. A buddy of mine sent it to me. It was released in the year 2000. In the year 2000. And you get, like, in dogfights, and it's a single-player adventure, and the whole game is right there from day one. No DLC, no online play. Or at least that's how I played it. There was online play, but we didn't have fast enough internet. In this game, you guys, I was hopelessly addicted. Where I had a friend come over from out of state. Like, my dad was in the Air Force. We moved around a lot. He retired. We're in North Carolina. I'm super into video games. I'm playing Freelancer. I'm playing Knights of the Old Republic. I'm playing Crysis. I'm playing, like, all these PC games for the first time because we got a new PC as a family. And my buddy comes over from Georgia.
Your PC couldn't run
like,
Crysis, dude. You're lying.
Yeah, on like low settings. Yeah, right.
But can it run Crysis? That was like the tagline back then.
I know, yeah. And so he comes up and he's like, "Hey, what do you want to do, man? Do you want to like go outside? Do you want to like shoot your BB gun? Like, do you want to play soccer?" Like, this kid was like, he's a good friend of mine, but we hadn't talked in a long time. We were old Air Force pals from back in the day, and we're sort of reconnecting. And I was like, dude, the only thing that matters to you right now is Freelancer, and I'm going to show you why. And he's like, what's Freelancer? And I pulled him up next to me, and I kid you not, we like couch co-op, sort of took turns playing that game for his whole trip that he was in town for like 4 days straight. They couldn't pull us away from the computer if they tried, and it wasn't multiplayer or anything. And then he left, and we were like texting about it, and he was like, I'm buying this game. This is awesome. And that's a game that I put just a ton of hours into. That and Knights of the Old Republic, I probably, fried the freaking motherboard on that computer playing. Oh my gosh. God forbid Crysis,
Right.
What about you, Jared? What's your most like no grass touching allowed freaking ridiculous game that you poured into?
There's been a lot of them. There was a time in my life when I think the restrictions on how many games we could play was kind of lifted. I was like kind of in high school. Halo 3 was definitely up there for me. And Halo 2, but I was late to the party with that. I was kind of there when Halo 2 transitioned into Halo 3, and I played just so much Halo 3. But I think the game that I dedicated the most like continuous time to was probably Dota 2.
Oh, that's right. You were a Dota guy for a while.
I was a big Dota guy, really, really into Dota, and a few times I played it to the point where, you guys ever have those dreams where you're still playing the game?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah, I had a few of those where it was like, just like throbbing migraine. I'm still playing the game all night in my sleep because I probably played it for like 9 hours straight the day before or something that was just really stupid.
Oh my gosh.
Um,
I've had games where I go play them for a long sort of period of time, stay up late, whatever, and the next day, like, I can't stop thinking about it.
yeah,
I can't stop. It's always going through my mind. Civilization was that way for me. Civ 5, when I first got into Civ and played with friends in like a lobby and we took turns, and that game takes forever. I don't think I've ever finished a multiplayer Civ game with my friends, like, ever. And that game is so like one more turn, and then I'm gonna do this, and then I'm gonna do this, because it's such a long form game. It's like Monopoly. It takes forever. And I've had times where like I'm daydreaming, just like I'm at work and I can't stop, thinking about it.
You know what? I also played a lot of Gears of War 2 online.
Oh yeah, that was a big online game.
A lot of that. We were really into that game, which was great because that was the time when there was still an emphasis on split screen online play, and those were really good times. But I can't say I ever had a time that stood out as like super duper unhealthy. It was just unhealthy all the time. So
right, it's just like one big block of
right.
Like, there was a few years there that I just never get back.
right.
I remember with Metroid. I mentioned I was a GameCube dude. Metroid Prime on the GameCube.
Oh yeah.
Gathered up the courage to play it, because it was freaky for me as a kid. That was spooky. That was a spooky freaking game. Because the scan visor, you could scan like dead guys, and it would say like, this one suffered blunt force trauma to the head, and alien acid destroyed his internal organs, and like.
But sound design too.
And the sound design was incredible.
Music.
Really, really atmospheric.
Right.
Like, holy crap. 3D Metroid game, just insane, really good. And I played that game so much, my parents had to institute a rule that I could only play for 1 hour at a time. And they would literally come into my room and like pull my chair back and go, you're done now, Jake. You're done. I hope you went to a save station. Because I had to tell them. I was like, no, you don't understand. You don't understand. You have to go to a save station. Mom, just let me. It's right. Look, I would like pull up the map. I would press Z and pull up the map and show her like, look, I'm going to have to go through 2 rooms and then I'll be at the save station. I got to go to the save station.
Right.
And so sometimes they would like flex it by like 1 minute so I could run to a save station as fast as I could. And I was on the clock. Like, oh, I got to get to the save station. So because they put a computer in my room, and that computer had a monitor that it had the composite whatever, like the red, yellow, white like cables. You could input video signal into the computer. So essentially I had a monitor for my GameCube. So I was living the life where I had like a Sony Vaio like dog water desktop tower.
Right.
But right next to it was a GameCube plugged into the TV.
Yeah.
Which was just as powerful as the Sony Vaio. Like
Which was on par with the computer. I played Rainbow Six 3 on that. I played Conflict Desert Storm. I played Metroid. Yeah. Oh my gosh. I think that's the thing, and that's why my kids are gonna never have a TV in their room. I know that's like an old school like pediatrician like rule, like on the form that you fill out when you take your kids to the pediatrician for the first time. Right. Greg, you'll know this when the day comes for you and Casey. There's literally a question that's like, does your child have a TV in their room? Because if so, you're a bad parent, and we're gonna tell you about it.
Right.
It does change the dynamic, for your kid to have a TV in their room so they can plug in their whatever.
Yeah. Did you guys ever have a game that turned out to be like worth a lot of money and you didn't realize it and you sold it before it became worth something?
Maybe. I don't know. It sounds like you have.
Yeah, well, I did that with Marvel vs. Capcom on Marvel vs. Capcom 2 on the original Xbox. Not that particular platform is the most expensive one, but I did it most notably with a game called Gotcha Force. It was a GameCube exclusive, a Capcom developed game that's kind of niche, but it's like you play as like toys, like a combat game, but you collect. There's like a ton of these toys you get to like collect, and the gameplay is tight, and all the different characters like handle pretty differently. But the story is super flat. The voice design is like really obscure. Like it's almost like they tried to just like get Japanese. They didn't like do any localization outside of like the text. There's a bunch of weird, quirky things about it. But I found this game on GameStop.com back when internet was like, we were just past dial-up. and I was digging around through the games that were like available, because at this point I didn't regularly read like publications, and I found this game, and the only copy near me was way across town, and I was like, Mom, I want this game so bad. And she's like, I'm sorry, I'm not going to drive you over to Irvington. It was like way across town. I was
powerless because you can't drive. Yeah.
Right.
Oh, I hated that feeling. Like, Mom, I just saw an ad for, Chuck E. Cheese. And she's like, the closest Chuck E. Cheese is 30 miles away. We're not going. Get over it. And you're like, but Mom, come on. I want to see the animatronic band.
Psych.
Yeah, right.
Not.
Dude, that game, the cheapest I could find of that game is like $500 for a used copy.
It's like $500 now, and I at the time I was trying to get it any way I could. Like I would ask her all the time, please, can you? And she just like wouldn't do it, and is like, and one time I found it on eBay, and I accidentally bid like $400 instead of $40, and I was scared witless. I mean, like, I retracted the bid. I didn't know at the time you can retract bids, but I tried so hard to get this game for so long, and then one day they just like sourced a bunch of copies at the Foothills GameStop near me, and I popped in. I was like, no way. And I got it, and then the same day we ran into like our best friends at like the dentist, and their mom's like, yeah, we just came from GameStop, and they're like, check it out, look at this game we got. And they got it too, and it had like a multiplayer component. It rocked so hard, dude. That game is really a gem. It's weird. It's weird, but it's a ton of fun. It emulates well, by the way, and and it's worth like $500 now. It's really weird.
Wow,
strange game.
Nuts,
you never hear anything about it either. But
yeah. On a whim, I just looked up. I thought of obscure games that I played, like on the GameCube or something. Did you guys ever play Time Splitters?
Oh yeah.
Oh, Time Splitters 2 for PS2 was my jam.
Yeah.
So the OG Time Splitters Future Perfect, I think that's Time Splitters 1, like the first one.
Future Perfect was the third one, I think.
Oh, was that the third one?
Yeah, great game though.
Really? Okay, because maybe I played Time Splitters 2 then. Anyway, I played Time Splitters on GameCube, like a lot. And I'm looking, and there's people, I don't know that they're selling, but there's people selling Time Splitters Future Perfect for the GameCube for $180 on eBay right now. Lower than that too, but Time Splitters 1?
It was one is the original Time Splitters is the one I'm thinking about for PS2 that was so good. That game is awesome. You play different eras of history and stuff.
Yeah. Because there was a Time Splitters 3, but it must have been Future Perfect.
But if you were, 3 was Future Perfect, I think. But if you were a kid who didn't have an Xbox or a PS2 and you couldn't play Halo, Time Splitters 2 and 3 were the next best thing, because it had...
Time Splitters 2 kind of got you there, because there was a mode, there was a couch co-op like mode.
Right.
And they had like bots where you could do like multiplayer with, maybe 40 NPCs. I remember it being a lot.
Yeah, a lot.
I'm just spitballing here, but it was a lot,
yeah.
And on the little old GameCube, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
That game rocked. And the single player campaign was really innovative at the time, because there was like time travel elements to it and stuff. It was really cool.
Yeah. Yeah, it had a map. The third one had a map creator, I think, and it had vehicles.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, it did. Yeah.
Yeah, I would strap the remote mines to the little monkey characters on my team and wait for them to run in and then blow them up and blow the other guys up. That's pretty cool. Those were good times, dude.
That's awesome, dude. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I don't know. In hindsight, there's actually a lot of games that I spent a lot of time in, and Time Splitters is one of them. Battlefield, lots of Battlefield games I played just a ton of, like Battlefield 2. I remember I played it at a buddy's house, and I made like an online account, and I played Battlefield 2 for the first time, and I was like, this is mind-blowing. I would go to a gaming cafe. I think it was called Gamefrog. It was let's see if I can find it. Gamefrog Cafe. Oh yeah, brother. Nice. $20 for 16 hours of gaming at Gamefrog. It's like it's out of stock now, but it's a Groupon for a friggin' business that doesn't exist anymore.
Cool.
And it was I'm gonna share my screen again. It was this sweet like cafe where there was like, gamer chairs and PCs and Xboxes and PlayStations and everything. Yeah, I know it's unavailable.
Nice.
But it was like cool. in a mall, you know, right next to the the green jade, like, you know, knives and katanas and teapots store or something, you know, it was this place that your mom could drop you off for a couple of hours, like an arcade, and you could sit there and play games on a PC. Like, oh my gosh. I wish that was a viable, like, business model of any kind, because I would open one of those, like, as a retirement project.
Right.
That'd be sick, dude.
But force them to play games that aren't stupid.
That's right.
Idiots, sit
like
down.
we said before, shame the children. And the only games that you allow them to play is like original Halo 2, like, you know, ported onto PC.
Exactly. I want to play Fortnite. I want to play Minecraft. Shut up. Sit down. Listen, all right. This map's called Beaver Creek, okay? So what you're going to want to do, you're going to want to rush Invis. Okay, or unless it's Overshield. Sometimes it's Overshield. You're gonna want to get that one.
Dude,
like,
Beaver Creek's
how do
a
I
great
dance?
map, I'm telling you.
How do I do the woogity, the joogity boogity dance? Shut up, idiot! What's color?
The button to floss?
Yeah.
How do I make what's this guy's name? Master What's his
It's
name?
not on here.
Master
Don't ever call him that. What color do you want your Spartan to be, and why do you want it to be blue?
I remember Blood Gulch. That's the one that I remember.
Blood Gulch was
Gulch,
the
yeah.
jam, dude.
That was the multiplayer. That was the LAN party map.
That was the Dust 2 of Halo, wasn't it? I mean, that was like
Pretty
the
much.
map to load up. It was huge and like, yeah.
And the sniping.
I remember youth group parties with Chase Delperdang. Shout out
Nice.
Pastor Chase from back in the day. The youth group, I was in the middle school youth group, but then we moved, and then I came back to Arizona to visit Clay in high school, and he was like, dude, the youth group is still hopping. You got to come check it out. We're going to have a like video game night while you're here. And I was like,
nice.
The youth group does video game nights? That's incredible.
Right.
So I was like, Mom, why did we move to North Carolina? This sucks. I couldn't be playing Halo with my friends.
Right.
And I went to, I don't know if it was Chase's house or Marcos's house, somebody's house, and there was a couple of Xboxes, and they were doing like a little LAN party thing, and I was like, this is the coolest thing I've ever seen.
You being in Tucson, being like, Mom, can I go to church? She's like, oh my gosh, I love my son. Smash cut to you, just kill-tacular. You're like, yeah, get bit. Woo! Oh yeah, you're in the Scorpion tank. You got like 38 kills straight. You're like, nobody's stopping me. Back when you could use the left trigger for the machine gun.
My son, bless his heart, he just loved church.
He is at church. He loves it there. He spends all his time there. You're just like, booyah! Woo!
Literally like skateboarded over to the church and like just to play Halo.
Right.
Oh,
Dude,
man.
the Scorpion tank was absolutely unkillable in that era.
Oh, it
You
was
just had to hijack it. Yeah, you had the machine gun with the left stick or with the left trigger and the cannon with the right, and it just like was a laser beam insta kill. Dang, that's great, man. What a blast of the past.
You know the most overpowered, like, did you ever play Halo 1, like the original Halo?
Sure.
The most overpowered weapon in all of the first Halo game is the pistol.
Yeah.
That is the best weapon
yeah.
in the game. Because, I mean, obviously headshots are, in that game, I think headshots in the first Halo are two hits or headshot kills with the pistol.
Right,
so you could just
right.
pop. And it's Halo, so it's easy to headshot somebody.
Right.
You know, man, the pistol was like, I remember if you were playing with friends, like we would do LAN parties and stuff, every single person would be rocking a pistol the entire time.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, they switched it to the battle rifle later, and I loved that gun.
Halo 2, the
battle
battle
rifle.
rifle was the meta.
It was,
Right.
dude.
Wasn't there a combo like overcharge the plasma pistol, take out their shield, switch to the battle rifle?
The noob
dead?
That was
Combo.
the noob combo. That's right.
Yeah, man. Well, fellas, we could talk all night about this. We really could.
I agree. Hope everybody enjoyed a little retrospective from us old fogies, grass touchers over here.
Walk down memory lane, which is my second favorite place besides Mammary Lane. You know what I'm saying, boys? Fellas? Maybe not. But guys, we love you so much. We love you so much, and we just want to hear from you. yeah, thank you so much for listening. We really appreciate you listening. We are improving all the time. We're improving our bar, and our conversations, and we're really enjoying this so much. We appreciate you listening. If you want to engage with us, you can do so on Spotify using the voice command function. Otherwise, you can see us, Jake, I believe our Insta.
Yeah, we're all over Instagram at 3 Grass Touchers. That's where we're going to be posting. Our plan for later this week is to upload some clips of us playing and maybe some short clips of the little video podcast we did. We're going to have a little more content generated there. So please, like, subscribe, follow, comment. What really helps as far as growth is, leaving a review and actually following, whether that's on Apple or Spotify or wherever you prefer.
Leave a review that says 5 stars, Deg for president.
Degless 2024, baby.
I would appreciate
Yeah.
that. Thank you.
What's the president song? What is that? How does that go? I'm doing the Olympic song. I'm doing the
Hail to the chief. Quick. Thanks, Internet.
Oh, I know what it is, dude. Only the strongest will survive. How hard would that rock the presidency? They just changed the official song to that. The inauguration.
We got to get rid of
Breaking
all
Benjamin.
this John Philip Sousa weak sauce, dude.
Dude, it's got to be. It's America. It's got to be Higher by Creed. Like, that's got to
Oh.
What if it was a remix where it was like, can you take me higher?
Just slowly morphs into that.
They changed the inauguration ceremony to where, like, the outgoing president, like, I just want you guys to picture this, like, Biden, like, when the next president is elected, Biden is gonna, like, parachute from an airplane to Higher by Creed. It's like, can you take? He's gonna be like coming from the sky, and he's gonna like pass over the keys to the Oval Office to the next. Yes, I'm telling you, that's
That
what
sounds
will-
awesome.
Kill him.
Scott Stapp is flying the plane, singing the song. Dang.
Microphone in one hand,
Yeah.
other hand on the yoke.
Yeah. That's how you fly a plane. The hand over the steering wheel with the one hand. Yeah, dude. And then he's got a Camelback full of Four Loko, and he's like, "Can you take me higher?"
Oh, incredible stuff. Well, folks, for more inspirational ideas like this, please continue to listen. Please interact. Tell your friends. Force them to ingest the pod. Thank you so much for listening. And don't forget to get on out there and touch some grass.
Big time.